I got a cookie, and then we interviewed Mick Barr, who is one of my old friends that I grew up around. He grew up down the street from me, coincidentally, and he's a big time guitarist now. And we went to his show and interviewed him.
Right, this is our first field piece, and we're really excited for everyone to hear it, and because it's a kind of an interesting interview with an interesting musician, and we got some live sound from it. And this is something we hope to do in the future, a bunch on the show. One of the main things that inspired the podcast. So,
all right, let's go tap into our adventures the other night and talk to Mick Barr.
Britton and I are here at Cake Shop, and I got a cookie, and we're going to go downstairs to see Mick Barr play. He's playing first.
Right. In a few minutes, I think.
This is a good cookie. I like this cookie.
Let's actually close up the circle here. Why don't you touch knees?
Oh, okay. Touch knees.
Yeah.
So it's in stereo, so
it's going right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're in there.
So you actually probably get all this music too, and other chatter.
So
hopefully that doesn't bother you guys.
No, I think that's good. It sounds very authentic.
It sounds real.
Yeah.
This is a real experience.
Yeah. It sounds like people, life.
Yeah. New York City.
What's the name of the podcast?
It's the name of the podcast is Thumbs Up Out of the Lava.
Thumbs Up Out of the Lava.
Yes.
Yeah.
Based on
unburnt thumb.
Yeah.
The thumb is the last thing they go. It's from that scene in Terminator 2.
Right.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Yeah,
that's the moment we want to capture in this podcast. So.
See, because I would think of like the thumbs up out of the lava. It almost implies
that he was
coming
under
back,
and he shot it back up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
which is a bit more, like lava ain't gonna stop you,
It's like a phoenix rising.
Exactly, yeah.
Rising.
Phoenix thumb, yeah.
Rising phoenix.
Rising phoenix thumb.
Mick's in a bunch of bands. He if you go to any of his, he has a couple of websites you could go to, but he's in so many. He's in like 1,000 bands. You can't keep track of it.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming to hear him just even talk about his band, so I can't imagine what it's like to be in all of them.
Yeah, and he even had trouble naming how many bands he was in.
How many musical projects are you involved with right now?
I'm not sure, but I know I've got 2 bands that have written music. And then...
What are those 2 bands?
There's Krallis and Oldest, which you saw Oldest.
I thought I saw... I didn't see Krallis?
Maybe you saw Krallis.
No, the one I was at?
Yeah, what was
that? That wasn't Krallis.
That was Oldest.
Yeah.
Oh.
You had just started that, right?
Well, no, we started it in like 2008 or 9, but that was our first show.
But you never played out, yeah.
Oh, is that the drummer from Born Against?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got like, I think like 15 projects that are all improvised. So, yeah.
We asked Mick about if he improvises his music when he's doing a solo set.
Right, because when we saw his set, I was figuring that at least parts of it are improvised, or at least he doesn't know exactly how long each segment of the set is going to be, because it doesn't seem as if he does. But this is what he had to say about that.
Is your solo? How much of your solo stuff, like what we saw tonight, is improvised?
None of it.
Really?
Yeah, none of it. It's all written.
So when you practice stuff like that, at home or wherever you practice, is it? Do you ever feel like, oh man, this is gonna be like? If you ever feel like intimidated by practicing it because it's like 10 or 15 minutes long?
Sometimes, but I usually break it up. Like when I'm practicing it at home. I don't know, maybe, not really. I just kind of like warm up. You know, like I guess sometimes I feel intimidated by the warm-up process.
What does your warm-up process look like?
I mean, it's usually like a good 15, 20 minutes of like first you play a little bit, then you stretch, play a little bit more, do some like on the fret stretches. Just kind of just like, you know, stretch and play until I like...
Mick's recently been recording or composing classical music, and he gave me a couple of his classical music pieces recently, and I listened to them, and they were pretty cool. And he talked about that.
It was actually written for like a chamber music ensemble.
And then who's playing it?
It's actually this ensemble called ACME, American Contemporary Music Ensemble. And they did they did a performance of it in New York, like to debut stuff, and then like they've been playing it. Like they may have played it in Australia. They were just in Australia. I don't know. It's possible, but I know they played it in Chicago and DC.
That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe Boston too.
Huh.
So yeah. So basically, like I wrote it for them, and they do what they want with it.
That's
You know,
cool.
and they play it.
So you know how to write music with music. What are the
circles.
What's the language?
Notes.
Yeah, notes. You know how to write notes out on a page and compose?
This is, I mean, we got into a little bit of music theory. And we learned that Mick doesn't like fudge.
Yeah, that turned into a discussion. He just was disgusted by the fudge version.
Right.
I kind of like the fudge one.
Yeah, you like the fudge one. I never did the fudge one.
But he liked Every Good Boy Does Fly, which he
Every
said
good
was...
bird does fly.
Yeah. Well, the really good boys fly.
Why?
I don't know. It's like,
Is there an ominous undertone to that for you?
I mean, like just fudge.
I like fudge. You don't like fudge?
I don't like fudge.
Well, it's not even if I like it or not, but just that word, fudge. I don't know. I've never been a fan of.
I like it. I like that one. It has a lot of if there's a story behind it. He's gonna get the fudge, and because he deserves it.
But why? Just because he's good? But did he do good things, or he's just like a good kid?
I should hope so. I should hope he did a lot of good things.
Yeah, I don't know about fudge. Do you like it?
It's okay. I'm not thinking about it all the time, but I like it.
You probably don't deserve any then.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
Yeah, and I gave him the classic Iron Maiden Judas Priest because that's all I talk about right now. But then I gave him the classic where I brought up Away from Voivod, who's the drummer for Voivod, because Mick in an interview said that I was his like 8th favorite drummer behind Away from Voivod. Away was like the 7th favorite, and so I just brought that up as sort of a joke because it's so ridiculous that I'm even on that list with Away from Voivod, who's like this big time drummer who's been in this band for probably 20 years or something.
Right.
And I played drums in a band when I was just out of high school for like 3 years and was nowhere close. But anyway, I brought up... But he liked... Mick Barr, I think, really... I don't know if he's biased because he knows me, but he named me.
Yeah, and you had an impact on him, at some point.
Yeah, so that's good. But I definitely was... Just classic. I always bring that up to him. I think I should stop bringing that up to Mick because he's probably at this point annoyed by it.
Every time you see him after you shake hands.
Yeah, I'm like, hey,
who's your favorite drummer?
Who's your number 8 guy? Me 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or not even, way longer than that ago.
A long time ago.
I've just been resting on those laurels.
Okay. I'm just gonna give you 2 things. You say which one you like better. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Judas Priest, Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden.
Okay, that's
That was
great.
an immediate response.
Yeah. Well, because Iron Maiden's more in the blood. Judas Priest kind of actually took a while longer.
Football.
American?
Yeah, good question. American football or American Pee Wee football supporting local kids and stuff like that.
I mean that.
Supporting kids' growth and happiness.
Sure, yeah, that one.
Okay, good.
Pee-wee, yeah.
Good.
They get fudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now,
Well, they're footballers. You got to bulk them up.
here's one. Away from Voivod, the drummer,
Yes.
or Will Garay
Oh my God.
from Brothers Chuck. may have read something there.
Well, that one's, I mean, I think I think after watching those Brothers Chuck videos recently,
Yeah.
I gotta give it to Will Garrett.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty good.
I always thought it was Gary back then, though.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
Yeah.
I changed it up. It's supposed to be pronounced Gary, but then our whole lives we said Gary
Oh,
because it
you
was
had a
easier.
name. You decided on you had a conscious name change.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister and I at the same time because
That's
we
interesting.
wanted to kind of like tap. There's an accent there. You might as well pronounce it, you know. And we never did. And it's kind of lame if your last name is Gary. So I just like I don't know. When I moved to New York, I was teaching at this school, and like I kind of had a chance to reinvent my last name because, or not reinvent it, but like take a different approach to it because the teacher was like, "Hey, do you want to go by Gary or Gary?" And I was like, "Gary, I guess."
You know, like I've been a Mick my whole life.
Is so your first name is Michael?
Yeah.
I would never. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. It's always been. Because like my father's name is Michael, but when he was growing up, he was Mick or Mickey, and then then like around when he had kids, he became Michael, and then I became Mick because I was new.
Yeah, you might have to make the transition at some point.
I know.
Would you want to do that?
I mean, because as far as like writing classical music, the name Michael Barr is a bit more classical.
You could have a second persona.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not, but you never know.
When I was watching Mick play, towards the second half of his set, he decided to play with his back facing the audience.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And it was a lot of feedback and repetition and kind of just an atmosphere of sound. And I started to imagine him. It was like watching the transition of Paul Atreides to Paul Muad'Dib, and he was just starting to have be able to see into the future and be able to just leave everyone else behind.
Oh yeah.
It was like he was just off channeling through the guitar. The guitar was his spice.
Yeah.
That's what I was imagining.
He had the spice.
Yeah. He didn't need any of us there.
No.
So, Mick, we were talking a little bit down there about how you're a really inspirational musician and artist because you just do your thing and it's totally good, but you're not really doing it like to impress other people, or there's zero sellout, like, oh, I'm doing it, like you're doing just what you want to do, and it seems like you don't give a fuck, and it's really, I think, it's inspirational to me, because I think people care, people give too much of a fuck about stuff, especially when they're creating things, and what do you think about that? What does that make you feel inside when I say that?
I don't know. I mean, it definitely makes me think about what I'm doing and then why I'm doing it.
Well, why do you do it?
And how much of a fuck I actually do give.
Well, what kind of a fuck do you give?
I know, that's a good question. What kind of a fuck?
Yeah, this is one of the interesting parts of the interview for me because we got a little bit of a sense of where Mick's coming from for his influence and inspiration for the kind of music he creates. And it comes from a hatred of rock and roll as a tradition of music. While respecting it, he explains what exactly that means to him.
You've left behind vestiges of other rock music. There's no band members behind you, and you're just channeling directly through the guitar, and then with some vocals. But it just seems very pure.
Well, yeah, I guess it's
no baggage.
I mean, I guess rock music, like, I don't really like... I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to Justine about this. That, like, the rock tradition, I hate. Like, I definitely understand, like, where, like, rock, like rock and roll itself, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But as a tradition itself, I don't like it.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, it's like, it's like you'll see new bands come out, and they're like, a rock band, and they have a look, and they have a sound, and they have an attitude, and I don't like that. I understand, you know, that like that was important, and there are old bands that are important that did that, but rock as a tradition, I don't like. I like metal as a tradition. You know, like bands come out as like a metal band and like they got the look and the attitude. Like that one I can relate to a little bit more, even though I don't want to do it. But I do like lots of traditions of music. Like I like, you know, like Eastern traditions of music, you know, like shit passed down through families and stuff, like where it's just, you know, and a lot of that is just like one person just playing an instrument by themselves, you know, in like the fucking mountains of Iran, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I like that shit a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, rock and roll, no, yeah. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah.
So you're not a fan of Kenny Aronoff?
Who's that?
I don't know that either.
He's a drummer. He's good. He's just like a rock drummer. I think he's the drummer from John Cougar Mellencamp.
Well, see, that's the thing though, is that I can definitely appreciate certain musicians in that, and I can even appreciate a band or two in that. But yeah, as a tradition,
It's very disrespectful at the same time. He's a disrespectful man.
Right, which I think speaks to, I mean, you hear his music and, you know, it doesn't exactly go along with, a lot of his projects don't necessarily go along with traditional forms of rock or even metal, so.
Yeah, what he's got to do is get Kenny Aronoff in there, doing a little studio drumming. You know,
Go back to the basics.
Yeah, back to the basics, stay in the pocket, Kenny Aronoff, and then Mick kind of like, you know, something like that for Mick. Yeah, so Mick was talking. He used to have all the, you know.
Yeah, you seem to know a little bit about
Yeah.
Mick's history. Growing up with him and all. Being on his top 10 favorite drummers list. And
Yeah.
all.
No, he used to have a lot of in his albums. Just lots of. He's always like kind of made up his own language, and he's explaining here how he just felt like it wasn't important to him at the time. But it's kind of cool how now he's coming to a point where he cares more about that. Not that it matters if you care about that or not.
Well, he was talking about how he didn't care about what the lyrics stood for, so he just started making them up.
Yeah.
And they didn't even necessarily go together or matter that they were made up. But now, like you said, yeah, he's made some sort of evolution and obviously is writing lyrics now.
Yeah, and when we asked him specifically what the lyrics were that he said in the show where we went to at Cake Shop, he actually got a little embarrassed about saying what the exact lyrics were, which was kind of fun. It was kind of interesting to watch because he was like, I'm a little embarrassed.
Yeah.
But then he said the lyrics, and it was good. It was good to hear I remember hearing Trees when we were watching.
Right.
Did you hear Trees when he was delivering the lyrics?
I didn't hear any of the lyrics when he delivered them, but going back, you can definitely hear, after you listen to what he says that the lyrics are,
Yeah.
we'll play with the vocals. We'll play that segment with the vocals, and you'll be able to hear them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the lyrics. It was good. It was good to hear him talk about
I
that.
don't know why that started. I think just because, like, I think just because of my aversion to traditional song, especially like songs with messages and lyrics. I used to really hate lyrics. Just like clever, like Bob Dylan. You know, I don't know if you guys like Bob Dylan, but
Oh wait, this is really interesting. So you dislike Bob Dylan?
well,
Because I've never heard anybody say that before. And I don't have an opinion either way, but I think
I
it's fun.
just don't. It's hard to. I don't know. I don't know enough Bob Dylan to say whether or not. I mean, sure. I don't like it. Whatever. I don't like it.
Was it an aversion to using music as a vehicle for messages, and you thought that was like not efficient or something?
No, I mean no, because I definitely didn't think about it
Oh, okay.
that deeply at that point in my life. You know, it was more just
Like
like
fuck this.
it was,
Make up my
it
own
was,
language.
yeah. I mean, it was more just like it was more like I almost saw caring about that as an unnecessary step.
All right.
To me, it was like about the music, like writing some interesting music and like all the words and yeah, and basically just caring about that. Yeah, it was just kind of like that just slowed down the process. I was drawing a lot of pictures then too, so it would sometimes tie in with that, where like I do a drawing and then I just kind of put some like symbols on it that then became words, and then I use those words as like a song title, you know. And then like when I like write a song, I would think of like a rhythmic thing to do, like vocally, vocal rhythms, and then you just fit sounds to fit those, like those rhythms. Yeah.
Tonight, when you did your solo stuff, the vocals that you delivered tonight, so none of those were any of those English words, real words.
No.
Because I was trying to tell if you were. I couldn't tell if you were doing that or not.
No, yeah, because that was the past. But now I actually write English lyrics.
So what did you say tonight when you were delivering the lyrics?
Are you asking me what the lyrics are?
Yeah, I want to know what you said because I couldn't make it out when you were delivering the lyrics.
You're tearing down the mystique.
No, that's all right. I mean,
Tearing the wall down.
We all take part of these mysteries together, humans and trees alike, with our arms raised wide at the sky, awaiting the blessing of space. We all take part!
That's cool that you shared your lyrics there because I feel like it's that's like you changed over time and now you have the lyrics that you were just able to share.
Yeah.
And you didn't like your lyrics when you were younger.
No. Well, it's not that I didn't like lyrics. I just didn't think they were.
You didn't have the time for them.
Yeah, I didn't have the time for them.
I think you're like
I
getting.
think they were necessary.
You're getting closer and closer to being Michael. You know.
Michael Barr.
Michael Barr and his poetry.
Michael Barr and his poetry and lyricism.
Well, I think are we good? I mean, I think this has been a very nice interview, Mick. Thanks for talking to us.
Good luck on your journey in becoming Michael Barr.
Yeah.
Sooner
That's
than
funny.
we think. Sooner than we hope.
Yeah. All right, so Britton and Will signing off. Thanks. Bye, Mick.
Bye.
Bye. He's waving.
He's waving.